Hello VC, Nelio here once again to do a quick video. I have pulled out some British Invasion debut albums this time. This is what I'm going to show you. And let me start with who else but the Beatles. Okay, Please Please Me, their first album released in 1963. This is not the original gold and black label. But even so, this is an early pressing of this record on black and yellow Parlophone label and a stereo edition, which is a little bit rarer than the mono edition. Uh, the inner sleeve is not the original, but now maybe you can see the label. There's not much glare. Parlophone, black and yellow label. As everything started with the Beatles in my life, and then with some other British bands. The Rolling Stones was another one I discovered very early on in the 60s. Of course, I did get this album later. This is the very first British release, and with a laminated cover, Decca, red Decca label with the open Decca logo, a mono edition. I remember back then the House of the Rising Sun on the radio, and I was really impacted by that sound, especially Hilton's guitar picking. And I never forget about those times when I heard frequently the House of the Rising Sun. So the Animals is one of my favorite bands from that period. Here is their first UK release. Released in 1964 on the Columbia label. Yeah, the cover has some yellowing, but what can I do until I get a replacement copy? But this is the original mono British copy. On Released on Columbia label. Okay, the Animals. Now, their US counterpart, you know how it is. The US album has different track listing, totally different track listing, and couldn't left out their hit House of the Rising Sun. The record is VJ only. I think the cover is only VJ, has some yellowing on the back cover, and it's MGM or MGM mono edition of label. So UK and US editions of the very first Animals album, one of my favorite bands from that period. Another British Invasion band is the Dave Clark Five. They went to US before the Beatles and started doing success over there before the Beatles as well. This is the very first UK album, Session with Dave Clark Five, also released on the same label as the Animals UK album. A Session with Dave Clark Five. Flat back sleeve cover, laminated, mono edition, and the label just like the one of the Animals, Columbia. The record is in pretty good shape, sounding Nice. The Dave Clark 5 first US album. A totally different cover from the UK one, and also a different track listing, as you might guess. The record has some yellowing on the back cover, but I know there is another version bringing a picture of the band without the instruments. This record came out in US on the Epic label, and this is the mono copy. Epic label, mono copy. Now, another band from Liverpool, Jerry, let me take it off. Jerry and the Pacemakers. How do you like it? Laminated cover, flip back, mono edition, also on Columbia label. Funny thing is, I have a picture with Jerry Marsden autograph. Now, a band from Manchester, Herman's Hermits. I don't consider this a good pleasure of mine because I really like them. I remember me and my brother, our daddy gave us a small cash every weekend, and we put the money together to buy records. That's what we used to do. And then at that time, we looking the display records in display, we saw the first Brazilian, which I'm going to show you, Brazilian album. And by the cover, we thought, hey, maybe this is good. This is in the Beatles style, maybe, I don't know. So we bought the records without having heard anything before. Mrs. Brown, You've Got a Lovely Daughter started to play on the radio just a little bit after we have bought the album. Then, at home, we put the record to play, and comes that Peter Noone voice, which we thought was awful, awful. When you had a small money to buy records, it's like one shot and you have to hit the spot. Otherwise, it was like, for us, it was like throwing your money on the trash can. So we thought, man, this record is no good. But then we had to like it. We had to like it anyway. And started playing it. By the third time, by the third spin, we started to enjoy the music and get used to Peter Noone's voice. So we ended up loving the band, and Herman's Hermits became one of our favorite bands from that period. We bought the records in early 1966, as far as I can remember. But the Brazilian edition, which I'm going to show you, this is the UK, their debut album in UK, laminated cover, mono edition, and also on Columbia label. So Columbia, the Animals, Jerry and the Pacemakers, Herman's Hermits, all on Columbia. This is the mono edition. Then I have the US, the first US album called Introducing Herman's Hermits. This is with the shrink wrap, and there is another copy, a variation copy because, as you can see, there is featuring I'm Into Something Good in one cover and featuring Mrs. Brown, You've Got a Lovely Daughter on the other cover. So I got them both. Herman's Hermits. Their albums Blazy, the US Blazy, and There's a Kind of Hush albums I really enjoy. Okay. So this is the Brazilian edition that we bought way back then, still in nice shape. But Brazilian records of that time, released on Odeon label, came in this awful cover, a plastic wrap. So terrible, we didn't like it anyway, but what can we do? And the Brazilian edition has the name translated to Portuguese, and on the back as well, all the text translated to Portuguese, and came on the Odeon label. There was no stereo copy in Brazil as well, and I think if there is any elsewhere, it is a fake stereo copy. Okay, now another band from Manchester, which I really love, called the Hollies. This is their first US album, Stay with the Hollies. Nice copy. Mono edition and released on the black and yellow Parlophone label, like most of the Beatles' 60s albums. Stay with the Hollies is just a good record. The Hollies released records that were way better than this one later. Now, the US edition. You know the differences between UK and US editions from that period. Here I go again. The Hollies, released on the Imperial label. Here it is. All right. Let me go a little bit quicker. The Hollies. Here we go again. Now, okay, the Hullabaloo's. This title here is written in Spanish because this record is from Argentina. I do not have the US album and I do not have the UK album. I only have the Argentine and the Brazilian edition. So I got it because it has the title translated, and here it says recorded in England. Hullabaloo's. In Argentina, they came out, no, the record came out on the Music Hall label. Let me show you. Oh man. Music Hall label. A nice label. From Argentina. Well, one rare record. Yeah, the very first Kinks album, released in UK. The Kinks, laminated cover. Back cover is in nice shape. A pie mono record. Cover. Okay, the Kinks Mono Edition UK. This is quite rare and, you know, a little bit pricey. The US, the Mindbenders. The Mindbenders supported Wayne Fontana. It was Wayne Fontana and the Mindbenders, which were from Manchester too. But then they split. Wayne Fontana started a solo career, and the Mindbenders followed like a, you know, the Mindbenders. This is the first US record. I have another edition here. Sorry, I didn't take the sleeve off. And they both are a little bit different because one is in mono and the other is in stereo. But you go for the mono because the stereo is a fixed stereo. Okay, the Mindbender is a groovy kind of love. There is one edition that they replaced one track. I don't remember now because I didn't do my homework. So sorry. But the Mindbenders' first US album. And the Mumford Man, the Five Faces of Mumford Man. Alright, laminated cover, back cover. I love this album, Rhythm and Blues. The band is great and came on his Master's Voice label. A nice label indeed. So Mumford Man, first UK album, mono edition. And the US version with different tracks, different cover. The Mumford Man album, released on the Ascot label. Ascot. All right. And finally, because it's taking quite a long time, finally, the Searchers, and this is the first, well, their first US release. Meet the Searchers, Needles and Pins, released on the Cap label. Okay, I hope you enjoyed it. This is what I have pulled out to show you today. Okay, till next time.